Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to do my top 5 multitasking face brushes. Now these are going to be all vegan and cruelty free, of course. Most lower end or like affordable brushes aren't going to be vegan because real hair brushes are expensive. So I have a couple different brands in here. I do have quite a few Real Techniques just because for some reason I just gravitate toward their brushes and they're really nice. Sorry I didn't make my bed. You can see cat back there, you know, you can't disturb the cat while it's sleeping. So, and then I like kind of straighten my hair. I never straighten my hair like stick straight, just number one because it doesn't stay like that. So yeah, my hair is actually done for a video once. So I did demos with all of these brushes, so I will put that kind of in between as I'm talking about them. There are two that I really think are the best. You can use them for multiple things. I just have like notes here that I might occasionally look down at. So yeah, let's just get into. I'll save the best for last. Okay. So this one, actually, I'm an airhead and forgot to film this, but. This is the Wet n Wild. It's just a Wet n Wild contour brush. So this is like the packaging that it comes in. They don't have the names on them, sadly. I like how on the package it says gluten-free. Why would there be gluten in a brush? I don't. Anyways, so here is what that looks like. It's a little dirty, of course, because these stain really easily with product, even though I've wipe it out. But this one is good for a really sharp contour. I mean, you can blend it out with this because it's really soft, but it just fits right there in the contour line. And then what I do for all of these is I have a washcloth. I just get like a pack of the cheapest white washcloths that Walmart has. And I'll use those to wipe off the color if I'm changing colors. And that even works if you're going from a liquidy or a cream product to a powder, or vice versa. So for this I would do contour like this, and then if you want, you can probably get away with doing bronzer with this, but I wouldn't really suggest it. I mean, if you like turn it sideways, you could, you know, do the bronzer thing. I don't know if I would use this for nose contour. That's a little bit too big and it's hard to pinch just because it is so fluffy. So you can definitely do blush with it, and you can do highlight with it. So yeah, this would be great. So this has got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 uses. And the next one that I want to talk about is the Real Techniques contour brush. So I do have a demo of this. So with this, you can set your under eyes, and you could also do contour. You can do blush with this if you want. It is going to be slightly more difficult than a bigger brush to do blush with. And you could definitely do a highlighter with it. The next one, this is still a great multitasking one, but definitely not as many uses as the next two. But this is the Real Techniques blush brush. So basically with this, I can do face powder like all over, bronzer, and then you can use this to blend your contour. I wouldn't apply contour with it just because it is a little big. But if you used, like I think in the demo I used this Morphe, just like really skinny flat brush to apply contour with, and then you can blend that out with this, and you can also use it for blush as the name suggests, and then if you're really careful you can also use it for a highlighter. next one, I think if you have either of these two next ones and the blush brush, you would be set. So the next one I want to talk about is the Real Techniques Stippling brush. So a lot of brands have these kind of brushes. I had the one from e.l.f., but the brushes on, or the bristles on the e.l.f. one were a little bit longer, so it was kind of hard to work with. But this one, you can do foundation. You can do, I did powder in the demo. It's kind of difficult to do powder with this, is why I said if you have the blush brush or a different powder type of brush, then that would work great. And then you can do bronzer, and you can do contour if you just use the corner. I showed that in the demo. Just use the corner of the brush for that, and then you can also do blush and highlight with this one. And this is what I use this one the most for, is blush. And the last one, I was raving about this on Instagram, but this is the Ecotools Wondercover Complexion brush. This is one of their newer brushes. I've had some other brushes for like 5 or 6 years. One of them, like, I have the powder brush and it's kind of starting to wear out on me, so they last a really long time. But this one, I can do a foundation, even concealer under the eyes. I can contour. I can set my under eye concealer. And then I can do blush and highlight with it. So this one is probably the winner of the most uses. The bristles, I don't know if you can see that, are just like extremely dense, but it is really soft. I think the packaging said it had like 10,000 bristles, which seems like a lot to me. This is a wide area. The only reason that I wouldn't suggest this for like face powder is that just the shape of it, that would take a long time to do face powder. I mean, I would consider maybe doing like powder foundation where you want it to be more dense. But for powder foundation, I generally use this Ecotools. I think this is called the Domed Bronzer Brush, where it's just a lot bigger of a surface area. And this is a little bit fluffier than the Wondercover Complexion, but that's like the only thing that I can use this for, is powder foundation. So if you have either the Real Techniques Stippling brush or the Ecotools Wondercover Complexion brush, plus a powder type of brush like the Real Techniques blush brush, or even their powder brush, which is a lot bigger. Let me show you those next to each other. So the powder brush is a heck of a lot bigger. It's almost twice the size. But I used to use this for bronzer, but now it looks a lot nicer if I use it with a smaller brush like this. But yeah, so all of these brushes I'm fairly certain are under $10. I will try to include the prices down below and links to where you can buy these. Yeah, so I think that was it for this video. Let me know if you want to see more about like eye brushes or anything else, or more brush demos like this. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
So I was going to do something for you, but I can't because it's not cruelty free.
What?
The luminous silk. It's like a little...
Armani?
Huh?
Armani?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to use that because it's not cruelty free.
Well, that's what I researched on it. Because I was going to get it for you.
How are you going to get that? It's like $70.
When I start working, Genius. But it's not cruelty free. I mean, it is in the US, but because they have to test it in China on animals, it's not cruelty free. They don't test it on animals in the US, only China.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just amazed that you did that much research.
Maybe it's you. I know what you expect. I know what you like and what you know. You're all about animal lives, so yeah, I'm gonna do the most research on it I can.